a likely story. Your name must be held
Hi,
by.
Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry I'm a little delayed. I'm wearing a watch that thinks it's 6 o'clock. Okay, we'll have to spring forward later. What was your comment?
Your fiery lecture today must have scared people away.
No, we already did the Puritans. I'm doing American literature survey.
Survey?
Yep. In 1 month, we do all the way from Columbus to 1984. Not the novel. It's American literature. It's fun. Well, thank you for coming. Let's get rolling here on page 13. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shalom Malachei Shalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon mimelech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu teichem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon mimelech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. All right, we'll continue now with Yedid Nefesh on page 14. God is the lover, Israel is the beloved, and she's playing hard to get. So make loving God compassion's gentle source. Take my disposition and shape it to your will. Like a darting deer, will I rush to you. Before your glorious presence, humbly will I bow. Let your sweet love delight me with its thrill, because no other dainty will my hunger still. How splendid is your light, illumining the world. My soul is weary yearning for your love's delight. Please, good God, to heal her, reveal to her your face, the pleasure of your presence, bathed in your grace. She will find strength and healing in your sight. Forever will she serve you, grateful with all her might. Die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, die, yada, die, die, yada, die, die, yada, die, die, All right, we'll take a little candle lighting break and I'll get some nominated. So, everybody please rise.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, lift off.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, b'mitzvotav. V'tzivanu, v'tzivanu, lahadlik ner. V'tzivanu, v'tzivanu, lahadlik ner. V'tzivanu, v'tzivanu, lahadlik ner. Shel Shabbat. Amen. Please be seated. We'll continue now on page 16. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai baruchu shemo, Basru miyom liyom Yeshuato. Let's read responsively in the English. Sing the new song to Adonai, acclaim Adonai, all people on earth. Together, sing to Adonai, proclaim each day God's awesome might. Announce to the world God's glory and wonders. For Adonai is great, deserving of praise. Adonai alone is to be revered as God. All the gods of the nations are nothingness, but Adonai created the heavens. Majesty and might accompany God. Splendor and strength adorn God's sanctuary. Acknowledge Adonai, all families of nations. Acclaim God's majestic power. Acknowledge God's glory and bring him tribute. Worship Adonai in resplendent reverence. Let the earth tremble in God's presence. Declare to the world, Adonai is sovereign. God has steadied the world which stands firm, and judges all nations with fairness. Let the heavens rejoice, let the earth be glad. Let the sea and all it contains exult. Let field and forest sing for joy. Adonai comes to rule the earth, to rule the world justly, the nations with faithfulness. I can't read the translation, or the Hebrew either, without thinking of what an exaggerated poem this is, and it says a bunch of things that aren't necessarily true. The idea being that if we believe that something is going to happen, it will happen. So that's probably it. All right. See, the other congregation has their piano going. All right, page 18. Mizmor shir Adonai shir chadash, ki niflahot asa, Hoshia lo yamino uzroa kadsho. Reading silent. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, v'yamin v'meisharim. Continuing now with the L'cha Dodi on page 21. L'cha Dodi l'grat kala, b'nei Shabbat mikabela, L'cha Dodi l'grat kala, b'nei Shabbat mikabela. L'cha Dodi Dodi, l'cha Dodi l'grat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela, L'cha Dodi l'grat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'letila. L'cha Dodi Dodi, L'cha Dodi l'grat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela, Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, Ki mekor ha'bracha, Rosh mikedem nisucha, Sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila. Lecha lecha dodi dodi, Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Please rise, fourth stanza 22, face the door through which the Sabbath queen will enter. Ohi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'tzala, Toch emunei am segula, Ohi chala, Ohi chala. Lecha lecha dodi dodi, Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Please be seated, page 23. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat. Let's read responsively from the bottom four stanzas. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall disintegrate. But me you have greatly exalted. I am anointed as with fragrant oil. I have seen the downfall of my foes. I have heard the despair of my attackers. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God. They shall bear fruit even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant, to proclaim Adonai is just, my rock in whom there is no flaw. Tzadika tamar yifra, ki eres bavano yizke, shitulim b'veit Adonai, b'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Od yehuvun b'seva, dishenim v'rananim yehu lehagi, ki ashar Adonai Suri v'lo avlatavo. All right, we'll put the prayer books aside. Is that sound being picked up, Doreen?
I hear it, but I'm not sure where it's coming from. I can't.
The
I'll
piano
sign a second. Yeah, I'll sign a
social
second.
wall.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, Torah portion is Tazria. And the beautiful thing about Hebrew is that unlike English, every word can be broken down to usually a three-letter root. In this case, Tazria comes from the root zera. Zera means seed. It can refer to a plant. It can refer to human beings. So in this particular case, Tazria means conceives. It's Leviticus 12:2, Yud Bet Bet. The Torah portion of Tazria continues the discussion of the laws of Tumah v'Tahara, that is uncleanliness and cleanliness. We are not speaking here about getting schmutz on your hands. We're talking about a ritual state of being unclean. If somebody comes into contact with a sheretz, for example, with a crawling insect, or accidentally touches a dead body, they are considered tameh. They are considered unclean. They have got to go into a period of quarantine and eventually bathe themselves in a natural body of water, the ocean, a lake, a river, or what they very often build. There's one in Boston. There's one in some major communities all over the country. That is a ritual bath which is used, you dunk yourself 3 times, you say a prayer, and you are considered tahor. In particular, when women are in their time of the month, they are considered to be tme'ah, that is, ritually unclean. It doesn't make them any worse than anybody else. The point is that back in ancient times, primitive man and woman, I suppose, were upset and frightened because women could bleed but not die. Because in those days, if you were bleeding, you were going to die because they didn't know what to do about it. So in this instance, the woman waits until her time of the month is up. She goes to the mikveh. Prior to that, the poor husband cannot be expected possibly to make his own food. So she is still allowed to cook for him. But she's not allowed to pass him a plate. She has to put it on the table, and then he eats it himself. I think it's pretty lame, but then I wasn't there when these laws were formulated. The other thing is that if a woman gives birth, she has got to be unclean. If it's a girl baby, I think it's 40 days. If it's a boy baby, it's 30 days, which certainly gives a sense of inferiority to the female. But again, it's in the Torah. These are not law. Well, the very Orthodox keep these laws, but most Jews obviously do not. I recall when I was at a meditation retreat, a couple of boys invited me to go to this mountain stream where they used it as a mikveh. And because it was a public place, I was allowed to wear my bathing suit. So I wore a black bathing suit because that is clerically less noisy than wearing some big Hawaiian thing. I bathed myself. I dunked under once. I came up. I said the blessing. I dunked myself second and a third time, and was considered ritually clean. I had never in my life, even though I grew up in a religious neighborhood, I had never gone to mikveh. I recall there was a mikveh right around the corner on East Broadway, and the very religious Jews would line up outside because it was just a tiny little building. One of the most beautiful mikvahs, I've never seen it, but it was designed by Anita Diamond, who wrote The Red Tent. She wrote How to Become Jewish, and she was part of the committee that planned it. This was in the Boston area, and I understand it looks more like a spa than a mikvah. When I did conversions in New Hampshire, we drove up to Portland, Maine, because there was a semi-Orthodox congregation there. They can never keep a full-time rabbi. But because of this, we were allowed to use it for immersions. When somebody converts to Judaism, they have got to dunk themselves in the mikveh 3 times. And things managed to work out. Otherwise, if we were down in my neck of the woods, because we were on the Portsmouth seacoast, it was so cold. The ocean would freeze your whatevers. It was freezing cold. But the kids didn't care. I was converting a couple of boys, little boys, and they went dancing into the water, dunked themselves, danced out of the water. New England kids are tough. Okay. All right, so what else have we got? Ooh, goody. Tzara'at. Tzara'at is usually mistranslated as leprosy. Now, as was mentioned earlier, leprosy is usually regarded as Hansen's disease. It's a terrible disease which gradually deadens the nerves in the tips of the fingers and toes and so on. And it's tragic. It's absolutely tragic. I think it's similar to cerebral palsy or something like that. But this doesn't mean that. This means a whole bunch of things. For example, it can be a stain on the wall caused by moisture. It can be some kind of patch of uncleanliness. And you have to keep in mind that people in those days, we're talking about the wilderness period, but they don't describe it that way. They talk about houses made of stone, and if you see that there is some sort of mold on your stone, you have to remove it and replace it. Okay? This is different from another custom, which a friend of mine from yeshiva did when he moved into his senior year dormitory. He painted the entire room except for one 12-inch square, because the custom is that as long as Messiah tarries and does not come bringing the salvation, the end of days, eschatology, whatever you say, you cannot have all of your walls painted completely. so he left this 12-inch square. If white or pink patches appear on a person's skin, in garments it would be dark red or green. I'm thinking, I know you don't have a dry cleaner, but why are you letting your clothing form red or green mold? You summon a Kohen, and that is a high priest, and there's really nothing he can do. He looks at it, he sees if the rash is apart from the hair that is growing from that, if it's on the fellow's head. But don't forget, they didn't wash their hands. If they took a bath once a year, it was a big deal. And people would go to parties. I don't know if the Israelites went to parties, but you would stand there talking to the hostess, and she would have some creepy crawly going up her neck. People would douse themselves with perfume because they had such terrible body odor. I don't know if that's true of the Jews. There are all these stories about the Middle Ages where there's a plague that's afflicting the Gentiles, and the Jews are not getting sick because they're clean. I don't
I don't know if
understand.
that's really true.
I think that's one of the old wives' tales we tell
But
about.
they use a
ourselves.
mixer and stuff like that, or they had to be, if they touched a dead body, they have germs. Some reason they knew that.
Yeah, but they didn't use soap, they didn't
The
have
mikveh
soap.
was just for dipping. The mikveh was not a bath.
Okay, so if someone touched a dead body, as you said before,
Yes.
they couldn't go near anybody for how many days? By then, the
I'm not
bodies,
really sure, maybe a week.
so that the germs would probably be gone by then, so that would be another factor.
As a matter of fact, in all the congregations I have served, except this one, we had a Chevra Kadisha. We had a burial society which was in charge of preparing the corpses for proper burial. We would wash them, we would pour water over them, 3 buckets of water. What I remember is that the buckets were these jolly looking yellow maintenance type buckets, and I thought this is a little too happy. And then we would dry the body off and put the shrouds on. Shrouds are kind of like pajamas, but you wear them for a really long nap. Okay? Any questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
is this something that is only peculiar to the Hebrews, or did other ethnic groups practice similar things?
When the Romans were running the show in Jerusalem and throughout Judea, as they called it, they built hot baths, cold baths, and what they called the tepidarium, the in-between baths. The Romans were, totally obsessed with personal cleanliness. But in their case, it's nothing to do with leprosy. It was just a nice thing. As a matter of fact, we know that the great rabbis would go on Erev Shabbos, the eve of the Sabbath, in order to wash themselves. And I don't know if they did the thing where they beat you with twigs.
Well, going through the desert at that time, they would have, maybe they had picked up some customs from the Egyptians.
But the Egyptians are back there, and they're going this way.
No, I understand that, but they practiced some of these practices.
The Egyptians were kind of obsessed with cleanliness,
Oh.
yes. They shaved their heads. If you went to an Egyptian party, try this sometime, they would put a big lump of scented wax on your head. And during the evening, your bodily temperature would melt the wax and would run down on your face, and they thought this was very fashionable.
Ugh.
Okay?
No accounting for things.
There you go. A person afflicted with leprosy, or whatever it is, must dwell alone outside of the camp or city until he is healed. The afflicted area in a garment or home must be removed, remember? So if you've got blue or green mold on your stones, you've got to pull the stones out. If the leprosy recurs, you've got to destroy the entire garment or home. It's like, yo, you come home from work, and your honey, sweetie baby says to you, oh, we're going to have to move. Why do we have to move? I didn't pay for this place yet. Oh, because we're growing mold in the walls. It could happen, I suppose.
Well,
And-
wouldn't mold be more prevalent in a humid environment, and so in the
Yeah, it would
desert
be in
can't be
Israel.
that humid?
Right, yes. I was there for a year. I don't remember humidity at all. It was very pleasant, except for the heat. I mean, the heat would kill you. We
The
went-
Queen of Sheba,
Yes.
tell me, where is Sheba?
That's a good question. I think Africa, but I'm not
Well,
sure.
I know it's Africa, but the gist of my question is that further south would be humid.
Uh-huh.
and they might bring mold with them,
Mm.
but in fact, when it's dry and almost desert-like conditions,
Yes.
you're not gonna see a lot of mold.
No, I guess not. Maybe these were preventative laws. Okay.
Yeah.
The Queen of Sheba and Solomon apparently had some kind of thing, a romance.
Yeah.
Okay. And she would ask him riddles, and they got it on kind of nice. He had a big harem. You can never have too big a harem.
Where do you keep them all?
Oh, there was a building that said harem.
They have harem for men? Could the queen have a
If it
harem
was a
for men?
queen, why not? Sure.
No, seriously, could the queen have
No,
a harem
your
for men?
friend Flashman, he's kidnapped to Madagascar, and Queen Ranavalona keeps him as a personal toy. And if he doesn't satisfy her in that regard, she cuts his head off.
Oh, good.
Yes. Okay, anything else? This is obviously one of our stranger Torah portions. It's the book of Leviticus. It's all that, really. Okay? But I shouldn't tell this story. It's a
Go
little
ahead,
off.
go for it.
All right, what happened was my second year as a counselor at Camp HaTikva, and I couldn't stand my bunk. They were 10 years old, there were a dozen of them. I had a co-counselor too, but it was annoying because I was getting ready to go to my first year of college, and I didn't want to wear myself out, which meant I wanted to lie on my bunk and, move as little as possible. Anyway, I found out that there was a job on the maintenance team. And I ran to get it. It was fun. In the morning, you'd go to the eating area and grab a pancake and roll it up like a tortilla. And then you'd hitch a ride on the back of the garbage truck with all those redolent smells and clean and collect all the garbage. So there I am. Now I'm a yeshiva boy. Don't forget, okay? Yeshiva boys are like a totally different animal. They don't have any understanding of the world as it is, because they've been listening to rabbis for 9 years. Okay. So I go to the ladies' room, the girls' bathroom, and I checked the toilets. There was nothing to flush because it was a real state park, and the laws said that you had to just have a cesspool underneath. So you do your business. It was. We used to tell. We used to,
House.
Yes, we used to tell the kids that they sent a scuba diver down there every couple of weeks. Anyway, on the wall is some kind of receptacle, and I didn't know what it was, but I figured it's my responsibility to clean it. So I give a little nudge, and the thing opens, and a whole bunch of sanitary whatevers come rolling out. And I said, "Oh my God, I'm tameh. I got to go to mikveh." I was, I'm impure. I have to go to the mikveh. I didn't go to the mikveh.
And you volunteered for this?
Quite an adventure. No, they were paying me. It was a regular job.
Oh, okay.
I think I was on Youth Corps. Remember Youth Corps?
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I was getting $50 a week. That was the same amount they were paying the waterfront people. Ah, memories. Okay. The previous year, we had seen them walking on the moon. We had a snowy TV. Anyway. All right, page 28. Let's bow towards the ark. Except, Paul, would you like to open the ark? Please rise. Do a good job. I'll let you do it again.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Thank you. Yashkoach. Please be seated. Oh, we'll do this in honor and memory of the eclipse, which I managed not to see. Who saw the eclipse? You didn't see the eclipse?
I was riding my bike, I didn't look up.
Oh, okay. All right. Nobody saw the eclipse? Oh, well.
Gail
Television.
did,
You come back in 800 years.
okay.
All right. Let's do light and darkness on the lower left,
Where are we?
28. 28, the
Oh, I
lower
got it,
left.
okay.
Light and darkness, night and day, we marvel at the mystery of stars. Moon and sky, sand and sea, we marvel at the mystery of sun. Twilight, high noon, dusk and dawn, though we are mortal, we are creation's crown. Flesh and bone, steel and stone, we dwell in fragile temporary shelters. Grant steadfast love, compassion, grace, sustain us, God, our origin is dust. Majesty, mercy, love endure. We are but little more than the angels. Resplendent skies, sunset, sunrise, the grandeur of creation lifts our lives. Evening darkness, morning dawn, renew our lives as you renew all time. Amen. Okay. Let's move on to the Shema on page 30. Cover the eyes. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kivod, Malchuto, Leolam Vohed. In the English, you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Okay. In the middle of 32. Mi chamocha Ahelim Adonai, Mi kamocha, Nedar ba'kodesh, Norati lot, Osef ele, Malchut arovanecha, Okayam lefnei Moshe, Seili anu v'yamru, Adonai imloch li'olam moed, V'nemar, Kifat Adonai et Yaakov, U'gi'alo mi'ad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Go'al Yisrael. Amen.
I'm in the kitchen, just wanted to tell you which was which.
Oh, which is which?
Juice, wine,
Okay.
you remember? Okay.
Wine
I'm
is
cutting
green.
onions.
Green wine. Orange juice. Oh, get it? Orange juice. Okay, let's read. This is the healing prayer. I'm going to read the names that I have here. Sheila Bergman, Refuah Shalema. Jeffrey Stern, Refuah Shalema. Rabbi Sachs, Refuah Shalema. Joe Albert, Refuah Shalema. Paul Dobbs, Refuah Shalema. Marsha Y. Roby, Refuah Shalema. Mary Mentor, Refuah Shalema. Marty Mentor, I'm sorry, I spoke to him just this afternoon. Elisa Pepper, Refuah Shalema. Vince and Patricia Massey, Refuah Shalema. Marie Pendergast, Refuah Shalema. Jim Schuma, Refuah Shalema. Kevin Catariz, Refuah Shalema. Jean Solar, Refuah Shalema. Joe Huerta, Refuah Shalema. Sue Reynolds, Refuah Shalema. Gary Ways, Refuah Shalema. Anyone to add? No?
Did you say Jeffrey Stern?
I don't say that. Okay, Jeffrey Stern, Refuah Shalema. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Let's read the English paragraph on page 33. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace, and awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise to you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim, v'al kol ha'olam kulo. Amen. Page 34. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti liolam, oti liolam, oti liolam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam Uvayom hashvi Shabbat v'inafash Shabbat v'inafash Shabbat v'inafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. It's a short paragraph, but it takes forever to sing. Please rise, half Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah. Amen. Yalmad yivrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayei chon uv'yomei chon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'gala ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'yimeru Amen. Yeshpei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Leol Meolmaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach Yitpoar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Kudisha B'richu L'Yelah Bin Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran v'yalema v'yimeru Amen. The Amidah, the standing silent prayer, 35b to 38, after which you may be seated. Years ago, there were some Hasidic Rebbe's who would get up before the sun rose and put on talis and tefillin, and then they would daven. And supposedly, it took them a full couple of hours to get through the Amidah. And some mathematical fellow calculated, and he discovered that they were spending an average of 7 seconds on each word. So that's still the record.
The record for fast or slow?
Oh, slow.
Slow.
Slow. You gotta go slow.
Very slow.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it shows kavanah, intention. You know to whom you are speaking, you know what you're saying, and you know who you are. Okay, page 47. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. All right, continuing now. Full Kaddish, 48. Yikra v'yikra shemei rabba, amen. Yomad yivrach erutei v'yamlich machutei, v'chaychon v'mechon v'chay l'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv yimru, amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach, yolam liol mehol maya, yitborach, Barach v'yishtabach v'yitmoar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalol shmei l'kudashah b'richu v'yilam in kol berchata v'shirata v'shbuchata v'nechamata damiron b'yoma v'yimru amen v'yitkabal tzlo ton uvuton d'chai Yisrael k'dam uvundi v'shmaya v'yimru amen Yehi shalom arabba min shemaya v'chai v'olin v'al Yisrael v'yimru amen Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, imru, amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, yase shalom, Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen. Page 49 is the Kiddush. Okay, what is this? Okay, the green ones are juice, and the yellow ones are wine. Okay.
I thought the orange was.
Oh wait, the orange is the wine.
Orange is the juice.
Let me smell it.
Orange
I
juice?
got the nose that knows.
Orange is the juice.
This is grape juice.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
No, that's grape juice. Orange is grape juice.
Okay. On your own, boys.
Wine is green is the
I'm having a wine.
Both of them are terrible.
Okay.
I never did that before.
I was never the cocktail waiter.
First time for everything.
Yes. Page 49. Savrimor nan drabanan rabotai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, Orei pri hagafen, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, Asher kiddushanu v'tzotav v'ratzavanu, V'shabbat kadsho b'avav rotzo hinchilanu, Zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit, Ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh, Zeicher l'tziat Mitzrayim, Ki anu v'charta, V'yotanu kidashta, Mikol ha'amim, V'shabbat kadshecha, V'yahava uvratzon, Hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim l'shalom ha'simchas.
Oh God. Where's the matter? Show this.
What is it? Isn't that Manischewitz?
No,
No.
it's pretty,
It's
it's better,
hooch.
it's a little
When I
better.
was in North Carolina, they used to say, Rabbi, you got some of that Manischewitz? Because we're all out of Morgan David.
Morgan David.
There you go.
In Vietnam, I was the only one brave enough to drink the Joseph Lipschitz that the Jewish war veterans sent us.
Oh, okay. And for your reward, you get to open the ark.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Get up.
Yep. There you go.
Oleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'atei gedula liotze bereshit shelo asanu kigoye haratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama shelo sam elkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam אנחנו קוראים משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ ומשה בקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים הוא אלוהינו הנוד את מלכנו אפסולתו ככתוב בתורתו וידעת היום השבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ תחת עינו ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד.
The curtain on the doors, please, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yasher Koach. Oh, the Mourners Kaddish, we're asking everyone to please rise in memory of those who lost their lives in the current conflict. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Amen. V'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayei chon v'yimei chon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. V'agalah v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach li'olam u'meil hayah. Yitborach v'yishtabach v'yitbo'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Li'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran v'yalma v'yimru, Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru, Amen. All right, you may be seated, page 54. Okay, I'm a little weak on this, but I want to sing it to Ghost Rabbis in the Sky. I do this maybe twice a year.
Rabbi, in
Yes.
the future, there's one song that I thought of.
What's that?
George Gershwin's Summertime.
Wait,
Well, you don't know
B'terem kol
nothing.
yitzir nivra. I can never remember ghost rabbis in the sky. Le'et nasa v'chefzo kol. Azai melech shelo nikra. V'acharei kichlot hakol. Levado yimloch nora. V'hu haya v'hu hoveh. It's easier than Rhapsody in Blue. All right, we'll finish up from the third stanza with the old fallback. V'hu echad v'yein sheni lehamshilo lehachbira v'li reishi v'li tachlit v'lo haoz v'hamisra v'hu eli v'chai goali v'tzur chavli v'yetzara v'hu nisi umanosli v'nakosi v'yom ekra b'yado afkid ruchi v'yetishan v'yahira v'imruchi giviyati Adonai li Elohim. Please rise for the closing benediction. Yivorechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Yo'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen. Shabbat.